Hi guys, and welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. So today's reading is for the zodiac sign of Gemini, and Gemini, this is your February 2015 general monthly forecast. So Gemini, what I see for you guys in the month of February is a lot of happiness here, a lot. There is the potential for the revival of something, potentially something coming back from the past for you. It could be a lover, it could be just sort of this view that you have with your life of kind of looking at it through new eyes, almost through innocent eyes, through almost like feeling like a kid again, feeling the kind of childlike exuberance that many of us felt as children, and really kind of having a certain control within your life, and through that control kind of almost being in alignment with your hopes and wishes and desires and manifesting stuff. Let me start off with the first two cards, Gemini. The first two cards for February are the Sun and the Star. These are both two very, very beautiful. I mean, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 major trump cards, okay? So 5 cards within the major arcana suit of tarot cards. So these are really kind of significant things that are happening within your life during February. They're really kind of major energies within your life within February. And I think that with the Sun card and the Star, what we're looking at is a lot of success with you guys, a lot of triumphs, some really good relationships going on there. There's a lot of kind of contentment there, and also I get the feeling around these cards that there's a lot of sort of self-belief, and there's a lot of kind of this renewed kind of energy going on with you guys. The Star is really a card about optimism and having a lot of hope and having a lot of faith, and also having a lot of self-belief, but it's also to do with manifesting our desires also, and just feeling that you're kind of at one with the universe, and the universe is really working in tandem with you. So I think potentially for some of you Gemini people in the month of February, you're going to be feeling that sense of optimism, that the sense of, you know, you can go anywhere and you can do anything in your life, and the sense of, almost a sense of freedom, like you've been released from something with these two cards. You know, what better can you get? The Sun and the Star. You know, the Sun is really a card again about optimism. It's about prosperity. It's about having some really good conditions within your life within February. So I certainly think potentially for some of you Gemini people, you start off the month feeling this way. You start off the month just feeling really optimistic about life, and really optimistic about potentially about your relationships that you're having, and just feeling sort of that you're in alignment with your desires, and that the universe really is kind of backing you up on that. And then we have the Six of Cups and the King of Cups. So 2 cup cards, which really signify emotions and our feelings and love, and really kind of our personal lives in a way, what we personally feel deep down, what we personally feel is going on with our energies. And I think that obviously with the Six of Cups, the Six of Cups is a card about kind of looking back to childhood. It's almost like, for some of you guys, potentially feeling nostalgic. But I just feel that because we've got so much good stuff happening here with the Sun and the Star, and potentially your emotions and how you're feeling about yourselves in the month of February, that this isn't so much about looking back in nostalgia, because sometimes when we look back nostalgically, it means that we kind of missed something, and I don't think you guys are going to really be missing anything from the past. Potentially you could, because we have the King of Cups that is sitting next to the Six of Cups, and so potentially for some of you guys it might be an old lover coming back for you guys in the month of February. But I feel that, you know, if I'd had, say, the Judgment card next to this Six of Cups, I'd have been more inclined to say that this could be a revival of an old relationship, or a revival of an old situation coming back. And certainly because we have the King of Cups, and the King of Cups can represent, because it's a court card, and because it's off the minor arcana suit, you know, when we get court cards like this, like the Kings and the Queens and the Knights and the Wands, these can signify actual people in our lives. The major arcana cards usually can signify major people in our lives, but they also more than anything signify an energy, signify kind of a state of mind, a state of being. I think with the King of Cups and the Six of Cups, it could potentially signify maybe an old lover coming back. But I think that this card is really to do with how you're feeling, these two cards. If there is someone that's come back in your life or someone who's coming back in, please let me know, drop me a line. But I think that these two cards are more to do with kind of you feeling emotionally balanced. And because you're feeling emotionally balanced and feeling kind of a sense of balance and equilibrium within yourselves, it's almost like you're looking at the world with a sense of excitement as a child would do. You know, you're kind of looking at your life with this, again, this optimism, this sense of excitement, this sense of kind of positive anticipation about, you know, what you can actually do within your life within February and going forward. And I think that because we also have the King of Cups is really a card about, how can I say? The King of Cups is a very kind of, if we looked at the King of Cups as a character, he's a very kind of caring, empathetic, sympathetic, very loving kind of character. So I think that there is essentially around this, potentially, it could be a situation with family. There's a lot of love within the family. There's a lot of love potentially with your children. And I also think that, you know, if this person here, the King of Cups, represents a person, it would represent a Cancer, potentially Pisces or Scorpion person. Potentially, maybe this is the person that you're with at the moment that is creating all of the love and happiness and excitement and positive anticipation for potentially a relationship that you're in. Maybe this person has just recently come back into your lives, guys, for some of you people. But I think that really these two cards kind of signified being happy as an adult potentially, but also kind of feeling that childlike exuberance and feeling kind of that excitement within your life for what potentially you could be moving on to, or, you know, what could be coming into your life. And I really feel that these are so positive, these cards, these first four cards. The Sun, the Star, the Six of Cups and the King of Cups. I'm just going to take a moment here just to really look at these cards and just to see if there's any other energy that I can pick up from this. You know, yeah, I think looking at this Six of Cups and King of Cups, it could represent maybe a situation that's coming back round for you guys again potentially. But I just get the feeling that it's more about being in touch with your positive emotions and feeling that kind of newness and that kind of freshness about life. You know, you're feeling quite balanced with who you are. You've come through whatever you've come through and you're feeling just this sense of excitement again within your life, within February. It could be around a person. And it could certainly, this King of Cups could, even though this King of Cups isn't a Gemini person, the energy of the King of Cups could certainly represent how you're feeling in February. You know, you're feeling like a child, you're feeling that childlike energy that's but also sort of remembering, you know, how it felt to be kind of free. And this is why I thought to myself, with the Sun and the Star, there is a sense of freedom with those two cards. It's kind of like being released from darkness into light. Both things, stars and the Sun, both shine. They're both kind of like a guiding light. So it's almost like you are feeling that you are being, you are in touch with the universe. You are in touch with who you are, as who you truly are. You are in touch with that kind of optimistic energy. And I certainly think that that just runs right through to the Six of Cups and the King of Cups, whereby there is that energy there, that free energy there, that optimistic energy there going on with these two cards. And then we have, interestingly enough, for the last four cards, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Emperor. Two very interesting cards, and I think that again it's you know, we started out with two major arcana cards, the Sun and the Star, and here we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Emperor. And the Wheel of Fortune is all about kind of having, you know, the universe steps in, it kind of like rewards us. It's all about kind of having a change in our in our lives. So the universe brings stuff in that potentially you didn't expect. You know, having a run of good luck with something. You know, the Wheel of Fortune can run either way. But I think that because we have such positive cards with the first 4 cards, this could really go either way, because the last cards are kind of telling me something. And I'll show you those final 2 cards in a minute. But the Wheel of Fortune, as I said, is all about kind of our situations changing. The Wheel of Fortune really signifies maybe a temporary shift in direction, in energy within our lives, because things are always changing. So really the wheel just keeps going round and round and round. And this is really pointing to the Emperor. And the Emperor card, when you look at the Emperor as a person, he really is in control. He's a very much an authoritative, you know, human being. If he was a person, he'd be a head of an organisation, you know, he'd be overseeing many things. You know, he gives instruction, he is very, he's very sort of authoritative, he's a very confident, he's a very assertive character. And so I think that with the Wheel of Fortune and the Emperor, there could be some form of a change coming in within a structure that you've got at the moment. But I believe that it will be for the good. Okay? I believe that it will be for the good. And I also think that because with the first 4 cards, for some of you Gemini guys, there is this sense of feeling optimistic and feeling kind of this sense of anticipation of what can be achieved potentially within February with these energies around you, and feeling kind of like you're quite free. Maybe some of you guys have freed yourself from something, you know, from 2014, from some stuff that's happened there. But there is a sense of freedom. You know, when we're children, there's a sense of freedom. You know, you don't know much. You come into this world and you're sort of just growing and you're this little person. And certainly when you're a child, you know, you look at the world through innocent eyes. And there's a sense of freedom in that, you know. You're not kind of being bombarded with all of the stuff that the world gives. You're not being taught lots of lessons as you do as a young person and an adult eventually. You know, you're not kind of like being... You're not having your mind changed by all the different things and the negativity and all of that type of stuff that can inevitably happen within life. You're kind of a little bit sheltered from that a lot of the time. So, and with the Star and the Sun card, there is a sense of freedom. And also with the King of Cups card, he has released himself from his chains. He has been through a lot of tests and he's come to a point where he really knows who he is, you know. So there's a sense of freedom I feel with these 4 cards. And I feel that because of that sense of freedom, and it's almost like for some of you guys in February, you've kind of released a lot of stuff. You've kind of let go of a lot of stuff, you know. You're feeling a sense of liberation, I think, within February. And I think that sense of liberation and that sense of release really encourages the universe to kind of, you know, give some good luck to you, reward you, because you're kind of much more in alignment with your desires. But I feel that this Wheel of Fortune coupled with the Emperor card, there is something coming in. There is something there is some form of change happening here, maybe with a structure. It could be within a work environment. It could be, you know, both cards really signify luck and fortune. The Emperor does, in some capacity. He does, in some capacity, signify some luck and fortune happening. There is some change in some form of structure going on here, I believe, with these 2 cards. But it will be for the better, and it will be for the good. But I do feel that the cards also give some form of a kind of warning to you guys. That you need to take the lead. We have the King of Wands and the 4 of Cups. And the 4 of Cups, I think, in this situation is you guys kind of being passive about something, you know. Some sort of change comes in and you're kind of a little bit sort of thinking about it, you know. You've got what you want there in a way, and you're kind of thinking about it. There is this kind of passive nature with that, you know. But I think these 2 cards, and also with the King of Wands, he's very much the type of person who looks at the potential in everything, because he's an entrepreneur. You know, so he really likes to take the lead, and he likes to kind of look at different opportunities. And I think these two cards are saying, look at whatever the opportunity is, whatever this fortune, whatever this luck is that comes in for you, potentially in February, Gemini. Don't pass it up, look at it, contemplate it, you know, look at the potential of it, investigate it, explore it. The King of Wands is also someone who is known for taking a risk. This person on the card doesn't want to take a risk. He doesn't want to take what's being offered to him. He'd rather kind of sit passively, because he kind of, you know, he's kind of in contemplation here at this thing that's being offered. He's kind of ignoring it. And I feel that this card is saying, the King of Wands, is you can't ignore it. You've got to kind of look at it. And, you know, look at the potential of whatever this thing is. Whatever the Wheel of Fortune is bringing into you. You need to kind of look at the opportunity of it. Look at the potential of whatever it is. This Emperor card is saying something to me. I'm not sure what it's saying though. Because this is about a structure. It's about organisation. I mean, it could be in February that because you're feeling so good, and because you're feeling so kind of so optimistic, you become complacent in a way, if that makes any sense, to the good fortune that's coming in. It could be that you become kind of like ahead of yourself, if you see what I mean, that you become a little bit how can I say? I'm just really looking at these cards and just thinking to myself, you know, because the Emperor is a very kind of, he can also be denoted as being a really kind of ball-breaking type of guy, you know. He can be quite, he can also be signified as quite an aggressive energy as well. You know, he likes to get what he wants, you know. He likes to have what he wants. He's used to having what he wants. He's used to having people say yes to him. You know, he's very, very, very much in control, and it can be borderline aggression sometimes. It can be borderline, I suppose, cockiness in a way sometimes, you know. And I think that these cards are saying, you know, don't be so kind of like, I've got everything that I want, or I'm getting everything that I want, so I don't need to look at anything else. I don't need to kind of I don't need to look at these little signs from the universe that are coming in, because I'm already kind of there, you know. I believe that these cards are saying to stay in control, not to be out of control, you know. Because sometimes it's just like if you are a rock star, you know, you're getting all of this stuff in, and you're really popular, and, you know, you're really kind of having all of this good stuff happen to you, and you can become complacent with that sometimes. That's just a hypothetical thing I'm saying. So you kind of ignore, you know, and kind of sort of don't think about the good stuff. You know, the things that are kind of there, the basis of why things are happening. You're kind of just not thinking about it, and you're kind of in your own head, and you're kind of in your own kind of, you know, you're caught up in whatever this good stuff is that's happening for you. You become kind of complacent about stuff. I think your energy is really good, Gemini, through February, but I think that these cards for me are saying don't become complacent, you know, with all the good that potentially is coming in for you, with how you're feeling in February. Don't become complacent. I think that this is the general energy I'm getting from these cards. Don't become complacent about where you are. You know, make sure that you are grateful. Make sure that you are, you know, in the flow, that you're always in the flow of positive energy, and that you're always in the flow of kind of keeping yourself in check, and not getting out of control, and not feeling that it's just you that's bringing this stuff in, because the universe has a hand in this. You know, I can see that there is something coming in, potentially unexpected, that is to do with the structure that you're in, whether that's a work environment, whether that's, you know, your own sense of feeling quite stable, quite structured, quite in control. There is, the Wheel of Fortune is turning something for you there. There's a slight shift in energy happening in February for you. And it's saying to me with these two cards, you need to kind of take the lead with that, you know. Don't be complacent. I think this is what the Four of Cups is saying to me. Don't be complacent. Don't feel that you've got it, just everything figured out, that you don't need to kind of be aware of stuff that is coming in for you and stuff that might benefit you. You know, don't get too ahead. If that makes any sense, I'm just kind of musing here over these cards. This is what these cards are saying to me, Gemini. But all in all, it's a really good month, it looks like, for you guys, potentially, for some of you guys, in February. It starts off just, you know, you're feeling on top of the world, you're feeling really good. You're feeling kind of like really optimistic about life, and that really shows through again in the Six of Cups and the King of Cups, where, you know, you're feeling, you know, that real sense of, you know, I'm getting my shit together, you know, I'm getting stuff together, and I'm starting to see life again through this kind of youthful exuberance again. I'm excited. And that in turn brings the universe bringing stuff in, you know. There's a change, there's a Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is going round in your favour. There is some form of change in energy somewhere along whatever structure you're in. Okay? But you can't be complacent with that. You've got to look at it. You've got to be aware of it. And you've got to take the lead with it. Okay? I have to believe that these cards are saying, especially the last two, the King of Wands and the Four of Cups, they're saying you need to take a risk with something. You need to look at its potential, whatever this stroke of luck that's coming in that changes something up for you. You need to kind of not be complacent about it, you know. You need to kind of look at it, look at the potential of it, and then make a decision from there. Guys, that's your reading for February, Gemini. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope that I know that I rambled a little bit on that, but I was just kind of musing on this reading and thinking what... I mean, I don't know what potentially comes in for you guys. You guys always let me know that within your comments, but, you know, this is a good reading for February, and there is a shift of something coming in for you guys if it hasn't occurred already. And I think really the essence of the reading is not to overlook stuff, not to kind of get ahead of yourself and overlook stuff just because you're kind of having a good time or just because you're in a really good place. It doesn't mean that the work stops there. You know, things don't just stop there. You know, you can't become complacent, and you can't kind of say, yeah, I'm in this position now and I'm okay, so I'm going to kind of ignore other things, you know. So if the phone rings, okay, and you're in a good job or something, and you're happy in that job, and the phone rings from another job, don't just ignore it. Look at the potential of something else as well. Why not? Why not? You don't have to take it if you don't want it, but it's always good just to have a little look at it. You know, it's that type of thing. Always be moving forward. Always be moving forward. This is what these cards are saying to me. So guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on your next reading, which will be the March 2015 general reading. See you then. Take care.